fucking windy, like 25 to 35 knots, and people are going out to see if it's possible, and they're flying all over the place. I was racing the final, and suddenly I felt something in my back going like ping. The way I feel today is that it's not possible for me today to go on the water. Yeah, I have to cope with it.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
So day 3 here in Costa Brava. The wind just kicked in, it's still Tramontana direction. We have a different course today. It's a pretty similar course, just we have another jibing mark for the downwind reach.
This is the first line, the starting line, and then you go up like that, you round it, you have an extra buoy now, and then you come here, you change and you go up again, do it, and this is the...
It's good to try different formats, and we can only learn and grow as a foiling class by trying different things and seeing if they work or not. So I'm really happy that the PWA is willing to risk it a little bit and try all these new things. So I think it's good to mix it up, and yeah, this week it's been pretty out there with some different courses, but I'm happy with the way they're going. My name is Kieran Batlow, and I sail for Starboard and Sprint. At the moment I'm doing the foil only on the PWA, but my main focus is the R6 class, the Olympic Windsurfing. So the R6 is a one design class. It has one board, one sail, everybody is on the same equipment. It's a board with a dagger board, and it is able to go from pretty much 3 to 35 knots. We race in all kind of conditions, and in the end the best all-round sailor comes and wins the event.
The R6 guys coming to the PWA I think is a very good thing. I think the PWA stands as the top of windsurfing, so the best windsurfers are here, and as you see in the upwind racing, those guys are at the very top, so I think they should be here.
They are very used to up and downwind racing, so they are really into the tactics, and on top of that they are extremely fit.
They spend pumping every day, so their pumping technique and their pumping fitness is completely another level than what we have, and they are super light. I mean, some of the guys are just 70 kilos, and in marginal conditions, upwind racing, that is quite an advantage. Well, it's the same advantage on a 100-kilo guy on slalom. It just goes faster, and those guys can just point higher and stay on the foil longer.
It's super good for the sport that they came, because this will make a better evolution.
They are showing us, the limits of light wind sailing. They are pumping a lot, and I like it. I like when the sailing gets physical.
It's good that they are here, and I like to race against them because they're smart races, and I always like to race against smart races. And for sure, also when you do good and you beat them, it's a very good feeling.
Okay, it's about 7 minutes to the red flag for elimination number 4, heat number 1.
It looks promising, yes. And it's not strong, but it's consistent, and that should be enough. So fingers crossed.
Should be an interesting heat. In the other heat there were some freaking fast guys. So hopefully I can make it to the front, but we'll have to see.
I can't sit on the beach when they're racing, and it's impossible. I just go out and hope that my back doesn't break. Maybe it's not the smartest move, but it's the only move I can do.
So the final was we ran in like 10 to 13 knots. I took a very good start to the pin end, like 4th position on the pin end. Pump a bit, did a perfect lay line. Was super close with the guys like Sebastian Cordel. We did a super close tag together at the mark, then the reach, and on the downwind he began to a bit overtake me, or we are super close, and he tried to jibe on my inside. At this moment he failed, so big crash. I was like, wow. I was afraid he crashed on me, so luckily no. And then I had a good margin on the other guys and did a perfect second upwind, and then I released a bit the speed and just finished slowly and get this victory, so super happy.
Feels better. That feels you as a magician.
So I want to drive easy, you know, easy. I mean, I have so many bad positions. No, I just take a good one.
You want a drive lesson?
Yes, please. No worries. I went from fighting with him for first to 20. I had the most position swap, man. That was
We finished our first elimination of today. It is a bit lighter than yesterday. Yesterday was nuclear, but it's starting to become nicely. I'm on a 9.0, so it says there's a bit of breeze, and yeah, it was fun. We finished the race. Tom, I won it. I got second, and Nico was in third. So yeah, good times. We're having fun.
Not the best race for me. Now I definitely need a second discard. I crashed right after the start. I tried to tag away because everybody was gathered at the boat, and then because the boat was a bit favored for the start, and then I got out-pumped right away. I didn't catch the best start, so I had to tag, and while doing that I fell in. So from that point the race was fucked. And now we're gonna do a full fleet race, meaning that everybody is gonna start together in one race.
Full fleet means basically that all the sailors compete at the same time. There's no qualification round. You get the place, you finish in that race, and that's it.
I think the full fleet should actually make it easier, because instead of running several heats, you have one race to worry about. And if this one race goes good, then you have a counting result. So I think the full fleet race is not really a big challenge. I think when we start running the heats, it's when it gets a bit challenging.
We did this full fleet racing, which was a good choice because like this we show that there is a discard. So luckily I win it. So for me it was again an amazing race.
Yeah, I didn't see a problem with the full fleet because the fleet separates quite quickly.
It's fun, you know, we get through the races, everybody's giving each other a good time, and I like it. I think we should keep it.
I was a little bit scared that when we have over earlies, we wouldn't be able to identify the right riders. Yeah, basically with the really good behavior of the riders, we managed to do full fleet, and it was easier than I anticipated in the beginning.
We changed the course now, so I'm switching the wings because now we're actually going to do a slalom course. So it's a little bit more about speed and not so much about up and down angle.
So you can see everybody changing, putting a slightly less powerful setup, and we'll see how it goes.
To be honest, it's a really interesting question about courses that should be involved in PWA, and so in my opinion the very best would be a mixture of courses. They would naturally develop the gear that it's good across everything. So not a specialized downwind gear that it's very small wings and goes just for speed, or not a specialized overpowered, like a too powerful gear that can go only upwind. So this is a specialized foil sail, but in reality it's a very close cousin to our racing sails. So first of all, the most obvious difference, you will see that these sails are much higher aspect ratio, which means that the ratio between the boom length and the mast length, it's much longer mast compared to the boom length, The reason for this is because on slalom you are sailing on chop, the board it's moving, it's very, very hard and very important to stay steady to get the maximum speed out of your equipment. So if you take a very tall sail in slalom, it will be very hard for the rider to keep it steady because there is a lot of leverage and the rider will be moving too much, and he will be actually losing speed through this, even that theoretically the high aspect ratio wing, it's always more efficient and then it's faster than the lower aspect, but if you cannot control it then you are losing again. Now we come to foiling, there is hardly any movement. Like when you see the races, you will see that the rigs are just parked, locked in an ideal position. So what happens here, we are able to actually make sails that are much, much higher aspect ratio, and we are getting amazing amount of lift. So that's, I think, the main characteristic of these sails, that they are very, very high aspect ratio. They also have much larger foot area in the sail because on the foil you are sailing more upright, so the sail needs to close down to the board. And also you will see that the profiles are much more forward oriented. So this kind of combination of very long luff and very forward oriented profile helps you to trim the board very steady and get the maximum speed out of it.
So much fun, man. It's amazing.
It's nice, no?
It's sick.
It's nice.
It's sick. It's like finally some adrenaline. Yeah. I was super happy to win the final elimination because I missed the two first one. The first one I fall at the semi-final, so I couldn't qualify. I finished just 9, and the top 8 were passing for the final. So and I won the losers final, but when you win the losers final is 17th place, so it's not so great at the end. And then this morning with Matteo Iachino, he had a super good start, and I was a little bit faster, but it was impossible to pass him on the all the slalom. And then that slalom, I wanted to get the win, you know, but I didn't want to push too much as well at the start, not to get over early. It's always a bit tricky, you know. You want to be faster than the other guy at the start, but you do not too fast as well, because you can also cut the line too early and get disqualified. So, but I knew that I was a little bit faster than the guys, especially Basti, Sébastien Cordel. But I was a little bit faster, so I didn't push too much, and then I managed to have a super good first reach. So I just had to control all my jibe and cross the finish line in first.
Okay, so we just finished the first ever foil slalom PWA race. Cannot tell you how disappointed I am. I got an okay start, had a few guys underneath me, but then I got good speed and I rolled everyone, was first to the mark, and then I dropped another jibe. It's impossible. I dropped 3 jibes this event in a very, very good position and then going fucking last. It's so disappointing. And I should keep positive, but it's so hard, man. Fuck, that really eats your guts, I tell you. This will never happen again. I will not fuck up an event like this because I dropped 3 jibes in fucking 8 races.
Just when we were about to start the 11th elimination, the wind completely died on us for no reason. It's supposed to be a good thermic day, and yeah, if the wind doesn't come, it's gonna be it for the event.
There is a slight chance that it would come back offshore from the right. It's probably going to be too late for us because we have the closing ceremony. So I'll probably call it off at 4:30, give the guys the time to pack up their stuff, because at 6 we'll have the closing ceremony.
The main challenges in designing the racing cells, it's always to predict and understand what sort of conditions and rules and racing courses we will see. Like often you will see that we are going into the foiling season, we don't know what the courses are, what the wind limits are, everything is possible, that's how they tell us. So this probably is the most difficult part of the job, when you have to guess what will happen.
Costa Brava 2019 is a wrap. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish as I wanted, couldn't quite keep up with my expectations.
but I know what to improve, and for sure I'm gonna fight back.
So the week was intense for everybody, I guess.
We had different kind of conditions, very light wind, very strong. We had the upwind, downwind course and the slalom, so it was a bit a big range of condition and courses. So it was very interesting to see, and yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
Foiling is still quite in the beginning. We started foiling relatively recent in competitions, and there are still a few things to discover.
Foiling is a great opportunity to get young people from the Olympic classes into the PWA or into a professional career.
So I think the main thing is the evolution of windsurfing. I think is foiling. So especially in the light wind. So we always have problem with the 9 and 9.5 in super light wind slalom. With the foil, we just go around the buoy super easy.
But on the other side, for the show of the PWA, we cannot really sell with the current live stream, the upward downward racing. Nobody understands what's going on. And that's why I think for the PWA itself, to do the best show, we have to be slalom sailing with the foil in light wind. It must be easy for people to follow it, and slalom is just the best show we can deliver in windsurfing.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! It's one art, one shot. One art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah! It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!